What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to kind of a podcast. Not a live show, but let's call it a podcast, a special one, quote unquote, because of the current situation that is getting worse. It's definitely not getting better. That's for sure. So we're going to talk about who is actually really to blame. Was this predictable? Was this avoidable? How to get out of this, if there is a simple way out of this as well, and is it Juntoli, is it the players, is it the coach, whatever it is, all that put together, equals this a disaster, a complete, awful season, and however you want to describe it. But with me, Norbert, how are you doing besides Juve?
Hey man, yeah, a long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. How was Italy for you?
It was good, man. It was calm, no Juve, because I left the day they well, a couple of hours after they beat Lecce. I left, and I came back just in time for Parma Monday, but they didn't play, so perfect, I guess.
Cool.
But I mean,
And now
the,
we have this.
now we have this. Now we have this. I'm gonna open up with a serious question because when I say this is one of the worst Juve sides I've seen, maybe some feel like it's an exaggeration. You're a bit older than me, so you've been watching this club longer than me as well, or you can vividly remember more things than me. The question is simple, and like, how bad do you rank this current squad, you know, among all Juve
Mm.
sides you have seen? And when I say how bad, I know I had that debate with somebody. He said, "Oh, but we finished seven and we played Serie B." So it's not just about position, but just the entire picture. The money we've spent, the club state, the players, the quality, how they act.
Mm.
Changing coaches mid-season, which usually doesn't happen. It happened when we were finishing seven as well. So, big picture for you, how bad is it compared to what you've seen since following this club?
Yeah, so I'm following you since '94 after the World Cup because of Baggio. And before my time, there were tough situations, I know, and the squads were not as good as after, like the I don't know 10 years following that was amazing, I would say. Um, but yeah, this is top three worst squad to be honest for me. Um, Even the Serie B squad had legends in it, um, and this squad is as we talked about. There are three players I care about: Yildiz, Bremer, and Turam, and that's it. And even then, Turam is I'm not sure, but I think he's good. And yeah, the situation as well with the ownership, um, and everything that goes with it is one of the worst for sure, for many years. And yeah, this squad is just doesn't want to win, or I don't know, something mentally is missing from them.
Like
And
a side question, because you said top three, quality wise, do you also think it's the worst top three quality wise? Like
yeah, I
as
think
well.
so.
Okay. Okay. No, because people like when I talk about it, people like you're exaggerating, and because we played City B, but you're right. Like we had Trezeguet, we had Dope, we
Yeah,
had Buffon, like we had like proper footballers in the. And again, it's it's a crazy thing. We shouldn't be playing City B, and that was a city. Like I get it, but when we finished seventh, that was a bad squad. Quality
yeah,
wise. However, I've watched that team. I've watched that team. I remember, like, I texted you, funny enough, said I started missing players like Zebina and Grigera at this point.
yeah,
They
yeah.
knew they were bad. Like, there was no talk. They knew they were bad, period. However, what I could, like, going into those games, it wasn't fun, but I knew at least they will give it their all. And their all wasn't good. I know that. But that was not because they didn't want to. They just it hit the wall. That's the quality, and we cannot do any better. That's why I'm saying it's up there. I agree with you because this team has more quality, but pair
Yeah.
that with the mindset they showed and all things that surround that makes them one of the worst teams I've watched. I remember no, it's not two, maybe 3 weeks ago I said I dislike the squad. Like I've never
Yeah.
disliked the squad more. And it's not even about, oh, we're not winning stuff, because I can accept that we are not ready to win. This team is not ready to win. I can accept that. What I cannot accept is the attitude. That I
Yeah.
cannot accept. It's impossible for me to accept a team that throws out a coach under the bus, talks all that smack. Gonzalez pregame,
Yeah.
remember? Say, I'm better on
Yeah.
the left. Goes out, stinks it out again. Kelly saying we're playing more attacking football right now. Goes out, first shot, minute 70.
Yeah.
Pjanic, after 1 week and struggling against Genoa, talking about the Juve DNA is back, and so on and so on. And the media lapping it up, the players leaking stuff. I knew the moment Mota got sacked, nothing was going to change because the players show their true colors. They
Yeah.
feel entitled. They feel like they can act this way and get away with it. That for me is the worst thing because they don't even understand how bad they are. That is the scary
Yeah.
part. They don't, and actually they act like they are much better, and it's like there's so much outside noise and they act like there's no outside noise. For example, Perin, when he puts out cryptic messages, and I'm like, you guys are bad as a football team. How can you speak? Like, how is that even possible? That is the biggest issue I have with this team. Besides, quality comes second, in my opinion, for this team. For me, then personally.
So I can't differentiate between and quality, like quality and like mentality. For me, it's one. That's why for me this squad is top three worst, because I just can't, like, either you play or you don't play. Like I don't care why. Like yeah, it's just yeah. I was so optimistic,
I know.
when we changed to Tudor, because of his mentality and everything. But this squad is just rubbish, and nothing would change that, I feel. And now I question even the decision to sack Motta, because what was the point?
I questioned it at the time, and
Yeah.
I question it again, and that's not to me to say I was right. It's not even me to say Motta deserved to stay in the job because he was doing a good job. I never said that, but it was the wrong decision for the simple reason. At the time, I said these players they show their true colors. They cannot be
Yeah.
trusted. The coach is an issue, but it's not the biggest issue. When there were excuses of somebody told me, "Oh, Motta's too tactical," so too tactical is not enough for these players, and the Grinta style Tudor is implying is also not good for these players. Then what
Yeah.
is good enough for these players? What was the point of changing the coach? Somebody said as well. I don't know which journalist it was. I forgot. I'm sorry. I think it was was it it was somebody from the Republica. I forgot the name. I forgot. However, he said that Mota deserves to get the sack no matter what because the locker room is not responding. Is the locker room
Mm.
responding right now? Is it? I don't think so. Is
Yeah.
anyone shocked? Because I'm not shocked, by the way. So is anyone shocked that the locker room is not responding? Because the signs were clearly there that the locker room was the issue, not the tactics. Okay, the tactics could be an issue. Like I get it, but you would assume, or a lot of people assume, maybe a bit like yourself, where you said like Tudor comes in and change the mindset. They're not even reacting
Yeah.
to that. That's how bad it is. So with 9 games to go and in the same position now, the top four race, I was like, what was the point? I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming because it's the same players. And then after that happened yesterday or post Parma, I had a good discussion with somebody in the comments, and he said, but the locker room was not responding, and it wasn't good, and things like that. He needed to get sacked with 9 games to go. That question, like I asked the question, like how much trust then? If you say that, that means you have a lot of trust in this group of players to say, well, it's purely Mota. It's not the players, it's Mota that makes him look all so bad when it's clearly not, you know? Genoa, again, he was there, just there, Tudor, it was bad, but whatever. He just was a couple of days ago. Then it was Roma. We played a good half, second half, we died, in my opinion. Like it was a game I was watching nothing. Lecce, I came out and was like, I was impressed that he somehow got a tune out of these players. But the last 20 minutes, I saw the real squad again. And if the game
Yeah.
was 10 minutes longer, we probably would have end up drawing that game as well. And against Parma, I thought it was worse than watching some of the games Motta play. I thought it was
Yeah.
worse because Parma were not good as well. They didn't have to do anything really to win that game. It was so easy again, and I mean, that's one part of the thing. The players, obviously, I think that's the thing you potentially can fix. But how are you going to fix that? Do you think having another big summer is a solution? Because all the rumors, conveniently enough, are now coming out with all the buzz names. It's Oshiman, it's Tonali, it's Surukov, it's like all the big names and the big money. Funnily enough, now, but the rumors make no sense. We don't know who the coach is going to be. Champions
Yeah.
League, no Champions League. So, do you think it's as easy as to say, well, we're signing Tonali and Oshiman and we're getting these players out and it all will be good?
Yeah, I don't think one, two, or even three players would fix this. It's a whole locker room issue, and we just signed like 16 players or something since
Yep.
uh, last summer. So, and now what? Now we sell all of them, and now we sign another team. Like it's it's getting super complicated for us, I feel, and someone maybe like Conte might be able to fix it because he has experience, and we all know how he is, and that might work. But it's a huge issue now because and even those names and even those signings, la la la. If we don't make Champions League, we can forget about it. Um, I don't think we can spend that much. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, Tonali and Sudakov and all those names, and we spend 60, 70 on a player. Like I just can't see it. And also, it's not the solution.
How, like, let's move on. We will talk about the players as well, but you're in Giuntoli's position right now. He clearly, like I
Mm.
predicted, is not going to go this summer because it made no sense because that move should have been like it's transfer season already. Basically, it's May. It's
Yeah,
it's literally May. It's like you cannot sack your sporting director now and do it again. Like that's impossible. Like it's unprepared unless you can only move on from a sporting director if you have, let's say it was year 2 of Allegri 1.0. He's in charge, like he has his club, like he has his team already set. You can ease in. It's not that difficult. Right now, it's impossible. So Giuntoli is going to stay. How how do you navigate through this entire moment being him? Because, well, first question, do you think he knows he's at fault? Like, do you think he understands that he made mistakes that he cannot repeat? And maybe not even can fix some of them, like are unfixable. Do you believe he understands that right now? Because that's where it starts.
I don't think so. And yeah, I agree. That's the first step, to understand that you made a mistake. Or yeah, no, for sure he doesn't know or doesn't want to know, or
And
and how you fix this now? I don't even know.
because fixing your sporting director, you do that with transfers. No matter what the situation is, that's
Yeah,
that's how it works. But with us, like it starts before transfers. It starts with the coach. post. No, I'm lying. Sorry, pre-game. Um, before we play Parma, he said something about Tudor, which told me two things. He's not going to be here, Tudor. That was before the game, and he's not in charge of making that decision, in my opinion. He said the idea is to continue together, and if he stopped with that quote, I was like, but he said we will see after the Club World Cup. No, if your idea is to stick together, the Club World Cup does not matter because there's no expectation for it. Like the Club World Cup, there's no expectation for the Club World Cup. Nobody knows what to expect. It is what it is. You go
Yeah.
out there and what happens happens. And I don't think anyone is too invested into that besides the club money wise. But as a fan, if you don't make it out of the group, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it because I don't know what that is. Does that trophy hold any value? I don't think so. It
Value,
probably,
yeah, money.
yeah, money, but like it feels like something that won't exist in a couple of years now. That they will,
No, for sure. Yeah.
throw away again and invent and stuff like that. That's how it feels like. So I'm not invested in that. I don't care what's gonna happen. But he added that to it, which makes me think that you don't want to continue with Tudor. That's one. And two, you're not the decision maker in this situation because he wanted Mancini and Alcon said, no, you're gonna get Tudor. That's basically what happened. It's well documented out there. So as a sporting director, how are you fixing something that you're actually not in control of? Because the Sudakov news is like, he thinks Sudakov fits the style. And I'm like, what style?
What style?
Like
Whose
whose
style?
style? Yeah, like in
Yeah.
which competition? So for Giuntoli
Yeah.
being in this position as well, like it does make it even worse. Like how do you plan the summer unless he knows from Alcan already it's Conte? Conte is going to be the I'm just saying a name out there, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's him, period. That's a player, that's a coach that's coming in. Don't worry about don't worry, worry about the rest. But don't worry about that. I made that decision. It's gonna be him, and now you figured it out. So for
Yeah.
Giuntoli, how do you start working for next season when you're not really in charge right now?
Yeah. First of all, they must know who's the coach next year if they already talking about signings, because it just doesn't make any sense to sign players without knowing who's the coach is. So yeah, and Giuntoli, like, I don't know how can he stay as a director of sport of football like this, like with the like his boss making his decisions. Like I don't know if I could, to be honest, but now it's too late to leave. So yeah, I don't understand. They must know who's the coach for sure. They have an idea who's the coach is. There's no way, you know.
I mean, when you read like we are being linked with players that cost a lot of money. Like
Yeah,
actually every link I've seen right now, it's like minimum 30-35 million euros. And I'm being
yeah,
nice. When I say minimum, I'm talking about Maxime de Kuiper being the minimum. It goes to 80 million and stuff like that. How is that even making sense? Because I know the news is out there that Alcan already said the money is not really the issue. We cannot lose certain players, and certain players need to come in. But even being Alcan in this situation, like you cannot keep, or like you cannot tell everybody we want to do this, this, and this, like you said, and then not know who really the coach is going to be. So I'm on your side. I think they know, and what they know, Alcon knows for sure who the next coach is going to
yeah,
be. I
yeah,
think they do. I also do not want to hear I feel sorry for Tudor because I like him, but I mean, you knew what you signed up for. Everybody knew what you signed up for. Like I cannot feel sorry when you know what you're getting yourself into. Like that makes no sense. Like I
yeah,
mean, if you're jumping, if you see sharks in the water and you jump in that water with the sharks and you get eaten up half, you cannot come out and say, how the hell did that happen? Like, you saw it. Like you made that decision to you took that risk. So I don't feel sorry
Yeah.
for Tudor one bit. I don't feel sorry for anyone because the only people I feel sorry for are the fans. Because
Yeah.
again, as a fan base, we need to understand that without fans, there is no club. There is no club. There's no football, nothing. There's no money.
Yeah.
It comes from sponsors pay because clubs have fans. Like it's all about the fans. 20 years from now, we will be here. Or a lot of people will be here still. Players like McKennie and Colt Miners and Gonzalez and Gatti and Yildiz, whatever, they won't be here anymore. I will still be supporting this club. Those players will be on holiday enjoying their money, but I will be here still supporting this club. So I don't have ties to anyone. At the end of the day, we lost Del Piero, Buffon, and the club went on to exist. you know it's still the club. We're still here. We didn't leave because Del Piero stopped playing football. So I want fans to understand that, because right now I cannot believe that certain players have fan bases within the fan base. Like you,
It's
you get
crazy.
what
Yeah.
like who the hell are you supporting? Let's be serious right now. I like Yildiz and Turam and Bremer, but to go, even for those players, to go out of the way to put them above the club, for me, is is ludicrous. Like it's actually ludicrous. I
Yeah.
saw people still defending Kelly. I'm like, why on planet Earth are you doing that? Like, what is happening at this club that there's actually part of the fan base defending players that shouldn't even be here? Like, that is part of the issue, because if those things continue to happen, the club gets away with stuff. They get away with stuff because they know, well, it's not all against us, really. So we can Giuntoli pay 20 million euros for Kelly. And the titles in the Italian newspapers are like, oh, he's a flop ever since he joined. And I'm like, no, he was a flop before he joined. Everybody knew that. Like everybody
Yeah.
knew that. But when that happened, remember when I will never forget. I will never forget, because there was an article from Tutto Sport and they picked up social media comments, and a lot of them, maybe it's still online, where people were saying, oh, stop, complaining, give him a shot, he's a player for us, you need to support. And I'm like, that's rubbish. Like that's absolutely rubbish. If you know a player is not good enough, why would you sign? Like, why would I be as a fan be like, I'm gonna stay quiet until he messes up, which I know is gonna happen, and then I will speak up. That is the issue, by the way. That is also part of the issue, where it's like McKennie, for example. I don't want to bring up McKennie again, but I have to, because when his dad puts out tweets and talks about his son, and it's like, oh, that's his best position, everybody knows, and taking shot at the coach, and taking shots at teammates, all the position this, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you shouldn't be at the club. Like these players should not be at the club, and people are eating it up. Oh yeah, dad, oh, give me a shirt, because he did a giveaway for his son's shirt, and
Yeah.
I saw people retweeting that crap, you know, after hating on McKennie and calling him out. I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is actually happening? People are getting away with it. Players are getting away with it, and I, like, is it? And that's a serious question, by the way. It's a serious question right now. Did a lot of the fans online, because you know what it is? Online is different than real life. I know a lot of real life Juve fans, older ones. They don't have the opinions of online fans. So is it that online fans and
Mm.
social media fans, and the most vocal fans, by the way, start
Yeah.
watching Juve literally when we start winning and dominating 9 weeks? Because I start to believe that a lot of people did not watch Juve before those 9 titles in a row. And even then, it's still criminal to defend certain players right now.
Yeah. And I've been also thinking about this. some of it, defending players like Kelly or all these new signings, is trying to defend the club's decision to sign them. So it's not even necessarily defending the player, but I think defending Giuntoli or defending the club. You know, um, I'm also thinking about this, that maybe they just want to defend the club
So
by
just
trying to defend these players.
back, it's blind backing, or like, do you think people feel how do you want to call it? They feel guilty if they attack the club. And I say attack, but it's not really attacking,
Mm.
is it? It's just, calling out, like
Say it
keeping the
how it
club to the
is. Yeah.
standards. Do you think people
Yeah.
feel guilty because,
Mm.
or do you think the club will, I don't know what it is, because like my mindset is, if you actually care about the club, you call this out. It's not good. There's no need to sugarcoat it. It's no need to baby these players. They're being paid a lot of money. A lot of them way too much money.
Yeah.
So why would you try to defend the like? How many years have we not won the title? Is it year 5 right now or 6? One with
Oh my god.
Pirlo, 3 with Allegri.
5?
This is going to right. It's Pirlo, and then
Year
it's
5?
Pirlo 3 years of Allegri, and then now this one. No, I'm lying. No, it's Pirlo. It's 3 years of Allegri, and now this one, right? If I'm out,
Wasn't it
what am I forgetting?
Sarri?
No, we won with Sadi. That was the last title. We won with
Yeah.
Sadi. Then we moved on to Pirlo. We didn't win. We got Allegri for 3 years, and now
Yeah.
it's this one. So 4 seasons basically. I thought it was 5. Anyways,
So, yeah.
it's
This
way
is the
too much
5th.
for the club. Like it's
Yeah.
way too long for the club. For this club. Way too long. To not even be close, by the way. Like not even close to winning it. So
Yeah.
there's no need, because again, I also know people who have a good, relationship with online, funny enough, telling me, but we won 9 in a row. That's crazy. What you usually win over 20 years, we won that in like 9, so it's normal. It's not normal. It's not normal to win 9 in a row. However, for a club like Juve to not win and not even get close for so many years is not normal. It really is not normal, and especially not if when you have been dominating so much, to fall off to this. That's not normal. Like it's not normal to not even be close, to go in Europe, get smacked around, lose against
Yeah.
Primavera sides in the Coppa Italia. Like that's not normal. It's absolutely not normal. So I I don't really have words. I don't know what it is, because as a fan base, you will never be united. Even if you're winning stuff, it's impossible. Because it's all about
Yeah.
opinions, and that's fair. But to be so divided on certain things when it's so bad, for me, is so strange. And it's, I think, part of the issue. We're all part of it because we all have its own strong opinion as well. But when we talk about these
Also,
players, even if you like players, we should definitely agree that in a dominating winning side, in a Juve side we all want to see, even the players some defend, you need to admit that they shouldn't be here. And
yeah.
it's part of the massive issue we have.
Yeah, and also on the internet you can say whatever you want, and sometimes it's unchecked. So no one is asking questions when you say something online. So,
That's yeah,
yeah.
that's fair. That's why I like to do this, because I can say something in a tweet, but like it has limited characters. I can come on here and you know say what I want to say and explain what I want to say. That's
Yeah.
what that's why I do this. It's not fun to do this anymore. I'm like, when I was out in Italy, I skipped 2 or 3 days doing a video because I was like, it's not fun anymore. This is a hobby.
Yeah.
It's not a job. If this was a job, and for some people YouTube is a job, then even if it's not fun at the club, it's your job. But this is not a job for me. This is a hobby. I put a lot of time, effort, and actually money in this as well, just to have a hobby and talk about the club, and get people on, have their opinions, and discuss stuff, But it's getting difficult. It's getting difficult
Yeah.
to do this every single day, if I'm being completely honest. And sometimes there are days where I'm like, I don't want to do it. Like I don't have the energy, and I know that I will come across, pissed and sour. Like every time, excuse me, since we started this channel all those years back, there have been no good moments. Like really,
Yeah.
the only good moment is we won the Coppa Italia, but even that, like we won it, but like 20 years from now, I'm not really gonna remember the Coppa Italia unless somebody brings it up. I will recall it,
Yeah,
but I'm
because
not
that
gonna
season was
talk
a
about it.
failure. Yeah.
Yeah, but like if somebody is like, you remember when you won the Coppa Italia under Allegri this season? Yeah, you remember. Oh, against Atalanta, fine. But you will not bring it up to brag, or like, you know what I mean? Like it's not something you
Yeah.
vividly remember over and like that's not the main prize. That's not the main goal, is it? So
For a smaller club, it's a big thing, but not for us.
I agree. That's exactly my point, like, and to be this far off, like it really hurts. Like, it really hurts, to
Yeah.
watch, to witness. It's just, I don't know, like, do you that's a silly question I was gonna ask. I was like, do you look forward to watch, like, we play tomorrow, Saturday now. We play tomorrow. Are you thinking about, like, when we were winning 9 in a row, I couldn't wait for the next game. If that, like,
Yeah.
it was like we play. Now it's like we play. I'm watching every single game, no matter what. But it's like I prefer not
Yeah.
to watch. It's like a job right now, an unpaid job, watching the
Yeah.
games.
So for me, it doesn't really change. I still really am waiting for the games. I guess it's my fault, but after like 15, 20, 30 minutes of like nothing, like against Parma, it's slow. It dies fast. Like I start to messing with my phone because nothing is happening, and that's how it is lately. But yeah, it's I'm still waiting for the games. Same way, I want to say.
I'm not, like, usually when we're what we should be. I was ready for the games like half an hour before that. I was in front of the TV watching basically
Yeah.
nothing. Pre-shows. I had it on. Now I tune in 1 minute before kick. Literally, I turn on the channel 1 minute before kickoff. I don't want to see them warm up. I don't want to see pregame. I don't want to hear, like, the less I see, the better right now. Because the moment I turn on the TV, I remember why I'm pissed. When I see those faces,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's you guys. It's you guys that make me so pissed. It's actually you guys. When I see players moaning on the pitch, Vlahovic and stuff like that, and then I see the performance, and I'm like, I cannot believe it. I'm like, what the hell? Like, that's you. That's not me. Like, you're moaning for you being bad. Like, I think some players act like we make them look bad and they're annoyed that we are the issue. And I'm like, it's you. Like, it's literally you who's the issue right here. So why are you
Yeah.
pissed with everyone but yourself? Like, it
And
makes no
also
sense.
in this squad, it doesn't matter who plays.
That's also
Like
a massive issue.
they can cry that they're not playing, but when they're playing, they do nothing. So like it doesn't really matter who plays.
Conceição, for example,
Yeah.
people will remember, and Tudor being asked all those
Yeah, I
questions about
remember.
Conceição. Then he plays Conceição, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like Gonzalez. Pre-Lecce, was it? Everybody knows I'm better on the left. Everybody knows that. I'm
He was
like,
amazing on the left.
I was watching that game. I'm like, I don't think anyone knows, right? Like, or we absolutely blanked it out. Goes out against Parma and others, horrendous performance. I'm like, stop talking. Just be bad. Don't be bad and talk. Like that. That makes it worse. When you're bad and you talk like you're not bad. I'm like, just be bad and move on. Just be quiet. Be bad. You will get killed by the fans, but whatever. But when you talk on top of that, fans start to expect something. that
Yeah.
you cannot deliver. Why
Yeah.
would you make it even worse? Why would you make it tougher? Like, these players are not even smart. Like, if you're bad, just be quiet, you know?
Yeah.
don't don't try to blend in, basically. No, they actually start talking. I'm like, why? Like, why are you talking? It's actually baffling.
Do you think they can get better the second season? Like, for example, Bonucci back in the days when we signed him the first year, he was horrible.
Oh, you mean,
And
okay, you mean all of them? I'm gonna
yeah, I
say
guess all
no.
of them.
I'm gonna guess no, because it's impossible for all of them to do that. And if one does that, he's still playing with three of the bad ones. It will drag down the
Hmm.
level in general. So I'm gonna say no.
Yeah,
I'm gonna, like, do I think it can get better?
some of
Yes.
them maybe.
Yeah, I mean all of them, but the bar is so low that even if it gets better, I don't
Yeah,
think it's noticed. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think it will be that
yeah,
noticeable to say, "Oh, there are no flops." Like, we spent the money in the right. You know what I mean? You know, like,
yeah,
for them to get better, it's like coal miners keeping possession, you know, or Gonzalez not tripping over the ball every single play, basically. You know, like, it's bare minimum stuff, you know. So yes, but no, because it's not really gonna be noticed. But like, I know what you're trying to say, but it's too much. If it was one or two players, I'll be like, we signed so many players. Turam is surviving,
yeah.
and Kalulu is surviving a bit, you know. And I saw a lot of Kalulu hate. I don't really get it, and people know what I thought when we signed Kalulu. I'm like, from all the things that happened this season, and again, I'm not saying these are Juve level players, but
He's
that
a
should,
bright spot still.
yeah, that should not be the main focus. Like, if you
Yeah,
want to focus on that after we focus on the main issues, then hey, do you, I guess. But after games, we focus on the wrong players, in my opinion. But besides Turam, because he kind of stands out a little bit, it really failed this summer. Di Gregorio, I guess, yesterday he conceded, and somebody under the comments, everything that happened in the game was like, Di Gregorio's too small. We need a new goalkeeper. I'm like, that's the takeaway of the game. That's wow. Like, how
yeah.
many
And he's
times did
not
he actually
small.
saved us? How many times did he actually kept us in games we should be
Yeah,
completely out of it?
silly.
Like,
He's a
that's
good
also an
goalkeeper. Come
issue.
on.
But that's also an
Yeah,
issue. Like, the focus is Di Gregorio after a game for fans. And I'm like, how? What about Kelly getting
he
bullied?
didn't
What
attack.
about Cambiaso trying to whatever he was trying to do there, instead of clearing it, and the goal would never, like, how is that not a focus?
Yeah,
Do you saw the tiers list on keep, sell, and all those things, which I'm gonna do at the end of the
yeah,
season.
yeah. I've seen it for like 5 seconds because I knew it's bullshit, so I didn't really look too much.
The amount of, I saw tier lists, saying top players this season. The amount of top spots Cambiaso got is crazy. That's what
How?
that's what I'm speaking about. What's actually happening this season and what you think a player can be. They're two different things. What we think
Yeah,
Cambiaso can be is great. What he's actually been this season is rubbish. Like, it's rubbish, especially after the City links. You
yeah.
cannot
First
claim,
half of the season he was okay, but after that,
you cannot come out and his agent come out saying he loves the Juve and that, and then put in those performances. Like, like, it doesn't add up. It's not bad. It's horrendous what he's doing right now.
yeah,
Like, let's be honest. How many mistakes, how many weird flicks that causes us problems, like, nonchalant things where it's like, there's nothing to do with quality. That's just in your head. You're not focused. You're not invested. It's as simple as that, when it comes to that. Because he didn't lose his quality because he got linked to City. That didn't happen. He lost quality because he's not focused. He's not locked in
yeah.
right now.
It's
And
his
people
head.
can put
Yeah,
in clips how he celebrates a goal. I don't care. Because when you have the ball, you're costing us. So you can celebrate all you want. And again, I'm one of those people who said you cannot sell Cambiaso because I have no idea how you're going to sign left backs in this. We already in a difficult situations in players in normal
yeah.
positions.
But if he behaves like this,
I
like
agree. I
I don't
agree.
see
I
him
agree. By
keeping.
the way, I agree. Like I said, if a player doesn't want to be here, I don't care what your name is. If you don't want to be here, leave. Leave. Like it's pointless. You're helping nobody right now. So it's a it's a disaster. That's a takeaway. A disaster you
Yeah.
cannot easily fix, and management is not going to change. So we can scrap that, I guess, right now. So the only thing for me is you need a coach who's been there, done it, has an aura about him where
Yeah.
he commands respect from the media, commands respect from his players, and just commands respect even from the fans. That's the only way you're getting out of this mess, potentially with these people in charge, because that type of coach can cover up a lot of deficiencies of the management. Is that name Conte? I don't know. That's the
Short
name
term,
that's out there, I
I
guess.
think.
But when people say we need to try for Xabi Alonso, I'm like, you're ruining his career. He's not, and on top of that, he's not that of an idiot to go from Leverkusen to
No chance. Yeah.
this like, building site basically of a team. So you're gonna need a ready-made coach, and everybody comes to Conte and the media for a simple reason. He knows the club. He's Italian. He's willingly taking on the job because he's been at Juve. You're not gonna get any random experienced manager jumping into this. Like nobody's that stupid, right? Like let's be let's be honest. I don't think anyone is stupid to take on this job unless you're Conte and you just want to be at the club. Period. I guess that's the
Yeah.
only
If
thing.
if we want to win fast, then we need Conte for sure. I don't think he would able he will able to stay long term because he just never does. But long term, I can't think of anyone else, to be honest. Um, I just don't know.
Can
Uh,
be,
yeah,
because Conte, he's been named and he took this Napoli team to where he's taking it. Um,
crazy.
do you think? And this is like I thought about it today, and I think it's a serious question where it's like a lot of those players at Napoli, they won the Scudetto. They just had a complete off season. I don't know what happened. They've done it and they were like, we've done it finally in 30 years, the first team, and then the mindset dropped and Conte came in and just picked them up again, and brushed them off and be like, you can do it kinda again. So because when people think Conte comes in, he's gonna do the same. At the end of the day, like a lot of these players of Napoli won the title before, like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, whatever, they won the title. When Conte comes into this, a lot of these players won nothing. Some of them won a Coppa Italia. So is that also an issue that experience
Mm,
real winning is not in this team? You can flip it and be like, actually, you cannot flip it. When he first came into Juve, you can say, oh, but that team, but it had Pirlo, it had Buffon, it had Del Piero. They won titles, and they were just
yeah.
real leaders of men, But this team has no leaders whatsoever. Di Lorenzo, I don't rate him, but he won it. He was the leader, had an off season, and now he's leading again. So do you think it's as simple as bringing Conte and it will be fixed, or do you think like these things still lack and it will still be an issue?
So because of the current squad and how they are in their heads, it's going to be better with Conte, that's for sure. But to winning Scudetto, I'm not sure. But Conte is Conte, and I don't like returns too much. But
No.
I feel like we need Conte because there's just nobody's out there who can fix it or who can give us a hand because what is I don't even know what is realistic right now. What name? Um, Mancini? No, no way. All the other names are funny actually. So
If you need to give me a percentage of how realistic
mm,
it is to see Conte as an ex-coach, and you need to consider everything. Let's say they win the title, Napoli, or not win the title, if that's a difference for you. How realistic is it with all parties involved? De Laurentiis, Conte, Giuntoli. Because right
Mm.
now, it's I think it's pretty clear. It's not gonna. I don't care what the media is writing. It cannot be Tudor. If it's not Conte, then what is the name? Because if it's not Conte, then yeah, then it will be Tudor. I guess because what else right now?
Yeah, for me it's like 50% Conte, not more, maybe less. Let's say 40.
And the other
And
60 is then
then
Tudor.
I I don't know if Tudor, but I just don't know who else. I just I'm praying every night before I go to bed it's not Mancini or it's never gonna get mentioned in for us. But yeah, it's just who. Mm, I don't know. The I wouldn't mind Tudor to be honest, because I mean
I would.
I want Conte because we need results. But if Mancini and all these names get mentioned, I don't want. I would rather have Tudor to be honest.
I mean, eh, at that point, I'm like, whatever. I don't think anyone is good enough. So
Yeah,
and again, it's not me hating on Tudor. I don't think he's a top coach. Like, and that's okay. Like, it is what it is, I guess. I don't think he's a top. Like, I think he's limited tactically. And when he said post game, I told the guys, you don't just win with tactic, you win with aggression. I'm like, yeah, but then you start talking about we need to make it an Italian team again, tough and grinta. I'm like, oh my god. When I
mm,
was listening to it, I was like, no, I cannot do this. Like, what? That's basic stuff. Like, yeah, you need to have that as a team, but like when you make that your main thing, I'm like, that's a relegation side's main thing. We don't have quality, we don't have tactics. We're just gonna fight, sit deep and fight, and show aggression. Like that cannot be your how do you want to say, like, your slogan basically. Like that cannot be your main thing. I'm not gonna buy
yeah,
that because that's a massive issue. When he talked about it, I was like, man, you cannot do that, like especially not at this moment as well. Yeah, show passion and whatever, but man, passion is not
yeah.
gonna help this team create. Passion is not gonna help Vlahovic hold on to the ball. Like Conceição making a smart decision. That's just quality
Hmm.
at the end of the day and coaching. But
Maybe maybe we can rob Bologna from their coach
no, let
again.
Palladino stay put. We're not gonna do that. I said last summer I preferred him over Motta. I took Motta. I'm not gonna lie about that, but I preferred Palladino. The proof is out there. But that's not me.
Italiano.
Italiano. Why I keep saying Palladino. Italiano. Excuse me.
You like
Italiano.
Paladino?
I also like Palladino, but not as a coach for Juve. I said Italiano in the summer because
Yeah,
I think he's a ready-made coach. Like he's really proven. In my opinion. Yeah, he hasn't won
yeah,
stuff, but like yeah, Conte didn't win before he joined us. But I don't want us to get Italiano because he will drown in this mess. It's not calm at this club. We need a personality to
yeah.
control everything. Players, club, media. I don't
I
think
mean, there is only
Italiano's.
Conte to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you
Yeah,
said,
as a
Mancini. Those are
personality.
names. That whole weight. But yeah, the coaching aspect is is different. It's really different. So um,
Yeah,
let's see, people. That's it for this one. We're gonna wrap this one up. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow, Monza post game. I will be here no matter what is gonna happen. Surely, like you should be beating Monza at home, but then again,
mm,
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if we don't beat Monza. Actually, I wouldn't at all. To be honest, but yeah, I mean, we will see. We will see tomorrow what we can talk about. Post Monza. But there's a wrap. This one is a wrap. So let me know in the comments what do you think about the entire situation, Conte. How many players you actually would keep at this club, or like are unsellable for you. I said three, and that's three without an insane number, a fee where you're like, yeah, you need to move them up, and those are Yildiz, Turam, and Bremer, and you agree. That doesn't mean I don't like a Di Gregorio, but I won't lose sleep kind of over those players. So, anyways, let
yeah.
me know in the comments. Norbert, thanks for doing this, and we will start doing more
Sharing
lives.
the pain again.
Yeah, yeah, sharing the pain. But we will start doing more lives. I took a little, literally a holiday, and then a mental break from doing too many videos. But we will be back with lives regularly in the coming weeks because, well, games are back, I guess, and transfer window, Club World Cup, so we have more things to discuss. Anyway, people, that's it. Speak to you post game. Ciao.